Hmm. Okay, today, like all of these lessons I've been doing, while waiting for people to connect, and for those of you who are here already, let's just sit for about 5 minutes, just being here however you are. So try to be free of any practices, just be. And we're just going to sit without concepts or effort for about 5 minutes, experiencing how we are, how we feel, what's happening, what's thinking, sounds and noises, whatever. All right. So today we're going to talk a little bit about today's meditation. One of my ideas was to teach kind of the second half or the follow up to what I did last week, but it's very concept heavy, and I didn't want people to feel kind of overburdened with concepts, which are useful. Concepts are useful, but in practicing peace, I think it's just nice to balance with something more simple. But I am going to stay on the Taoist chord here. So this is a meditation about being in wholeness and oneness and experiencing that to the best of our ability. So I'm going to give it a little bit of conceptual setup, and then we are going to just sit for a while feeling. I'll set a timer, 20 minutes or something, and leave it at that. Wish I would have brought my timer in here with me. Look at that. I like that. Okay, great. Wonderful. I guess we'll do this. Okay, so in Taoism, I just had this great conversation with my friend Jorge, who is a wonderful person for me to talk with. Though we have different views, I mean, that's actually part of it. We have different views about how reality works and how to work with it, how reality functions, and what's the purpose of it, and how to work with that. We both, when we're together, often have a passion for talking about that, describing it to each other, and debating it a little bit. So this came up recently in conversation, and this has been an important practice of mine for a long time. So, but I wanted to bring that up because one of the other things on my list of things to teach is how conversation in itself is considered a part of meditation. If any of you have studied Sufis, that's a big part of Rumi's teaching. And in Hinduism, I do not remember the name of the style of meditation that it is, but it is thought that having those long, articulate, philosophical conversations are a form of meditation, which, be it about emotions or the purpose of life or whatever. So I encourage that kind of behavior. But in this recent conversation, I was talking about the Taoist, I was articulating the Taoist view of how reality came to be, and I'm going to try to do that simply here, is that for an infinite amount of time, because time didn't exist, there was wholeness. This is true in Judeo-Christian teachings as well, and in Hinduism, but they all have different ways to talk about it. That for an infinite amount of time, there was no time and there was nothing. There was complete, undifferentiated wholeness. It could be called a deity or it could be not. Different cultures do different things. But that state of being eventually decided, for some reason or another, and in Taoism, I have not heard the story as to why it chose to do this. It decided to, in Taoism, they describe it as turning on itself and creating a cord. So the state of undifferentiated being is called Wuji, and turning on itself is sometimes referred to as the Wuji cord. And in the turning on itself, it created yin and yang. So it created duality, and from the duality, it created the 10,000 things. That was always the number they used for a limitless number, which, of course, nowadays we have bigger numbers. But the Wuji still exists. So again, in Hinduism, this could be referred to as Akash or Brahman. I don't know, again, the mysticism of Judeo-Christian stuff enough to talk about. I know some Gnostic stuff relating to the Kabbalah, and they talk about Bina, the first Sephiroth, as being this state of undifferentiated wholeness, as far as I understand it. So, like silence, this is one of the ways I teach this, because in Hinduism, the crown chakra, the Bij mantra, is silence, and in Taoism, the most yin is water. So it used to be typified by water, and then it just became the yin symbol of the yin yang. The most yin is water, and the water element is hearing, amongst other things. And the yinist of water emotions is silence, stillness, which begets wisdom. So one of the teachings that I often do is either to open the crown chakra, which connects you to all and wisdom, or connecting to the most yin, which connects you to silence, stillness, and wisdom, is to listen to the sound field that you are in and allow yourself to entertain the concept that behind all of the room noise, the talking, the sounds outside of the room, all of those sounds are happening in a field of silence. And that silence connects you to the world before the world was made, the reality before reality was constructed. And again, what that means to you is part of the meditation. Feeling it, finding it, exploring it, resting in it. Even though the cord has been tied and the 10,000 things have beget and are begetting, there is still Wuji around all of the differentiation. There's still wholeness even amongst all of the separation. And, regardless of what you want to do with this, it is a good practice to have, to connect with, and to experience being in, and letting that inform decisions, emotions, interactions, relations, and just your philosophies. But you can use it better as a concept and as a skill if you practice it, like all of these things. So today we're going to sit for about 20 minutes, enjoying the silence, doing your best to, again, notice when you have thoughts, notice when you hear things, notice when there's interruptions, but anchor in the silence. Focus all of the attention on the silence. Depending if you have a practice relating to silence, you can do what comes up with that. That's fine. If you have from Taoism or Hinduism, if you want to spend some time exploring your crown chakra's connection to the silence, that's useful. If you want to spend some time using your ears and or kidneys, bladder to connect to the silence, bones, that's useful. Feeling the resonance of noise in your bones and seeing what it's like if they can come to silence and stillness. And every once in a while, perhaps nudging consciousness into there is infinite, undifferentiated potential that has been and will be for an eternity all around me, all around everything, within, without, through everything. And just try to connect with that and be in it and see what it feels like to connect with that and be in it. Because even though you are a separate being with a separate consciousness, with separate experiences, you are also existing within eternity, which has not stopped. And undifferentiated eternity has not stopped, even though there's so much differentiation inside of it. So today we're connecting with that. So again, there's a little bit of conceptual nudging, but there's also just the experience of watching the consciousness, the emotions, the thoughts, the reality in trying to connect and rest inside of that. And unless I see a couple of people watching, so if you guys want to ask any questions, you can type something in the chat. Otherwise, that's enough talking for today. And I'm going to set a timer for just 20 minutes and sit here and enjoy the silence. And then I'll probably talk for a few minutes after that, and that will be all for today. Enjoy the love burn. Love you. Remember eternity. All right. Okay then. So thank you, and enough now. Enjoy the silence. Okay, so that's 20 minutes. So I'm just going to give you another minute to wrap up whatever you're doing before speaking more. So yeah, it's, this is different from samadhi because we're not trying to hold the attention on the breath, but it's similar in that we're not doing anything particularly and we're trying to hold the attention on something even more subtle than the breath, perhaps the silence field, the akash. And it's always fun for me to meditate when I give myself the time to notice all the insane gibbering in the brain, just blah, 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 nonsense. And then watching the settling happen. And because I was talking about this in a Taoist context and the kind of things I said, that I was like, oh, well, let me try exactly what I was describing. And connecting to the yin just made me want to fall asleep, which is, a good thing. The yin wants you to fall asleep, just come to complete relaxation and ease. So it was tricky to kind of stay conscious. I started flickering into REM a little bit. I was having dreamy experiences. And I was like, okay, try to stay here. And I was slumping. Oh. I hope this concept and practice gives you some inspiration to, if you have any questions, type at me while I'm finishing this description. But I hope that this concept and this practice gives you some inspiration to play with in your daily meditations or whenever you meditate. And remember, you can do this for 5 seconds and it's beneficial. You can do this for an hour and it's beneficial. It's an infinite place to explore. And I think this is kind of key to peace. A lot of the time for me is understanding that in all the conditions, in all the news stories, in all the relationships, in all the drama, and all the hunger and desire and confusion, there is still the infinite, undifferentiated field of limitless potential that created everything in existence. If there is a Big Bang, the space that the Big Bang happened in and whatever was before the Big Bang still exists. It just has more noise in it now, but it's still there. And remembering that you can connect to it and find silence, even if you have tinnitus or pain or a very overactive mind, there's still silence. And even 1 second of peace, 1 second of consciousness, 1 second of wholeness with eternity is success. I love you. Thank you for your practice. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace and help others be at peace. I think I should say really quickly that I'm leaving in 2 days to go to Asia, and I'm going to be traveling around. So hopefully I'll do a class next week. It is my intention to do so, but if I don't, It may not be at the same time, actually. It may be at a different time because it's like a 12-hour difference. Anyway, there's going to be a lot of traveling, and who knows if I'll have internet, so just putting that out there in case you watch this. I'll do my best.